Apologies if I'm like low energy in this video. I think I'm getting sick. One of my Uber delivery drivers must have gotten me sick because I don't go anywhere. So, you know, you should stick around and show me your support because I feel icky. SYDNEY SWEENEY did what some are saying is allegedly a PR interview to clear up her image, which is funny considering it's having the opposite effect, and I don't think it will ever be clean again. And it's annoying, as you could expect, probably. I wasn't gonna do a video on this, but every time I check TikTok, since the interview dropped like over 2 weeks ago, I keep getting people on my For You page talking about it, so I guess I'll give my 2 cents after all. I know the world has been holding its breath, waiting to hear what I have to say. So it starts with discussing her movie Christie, which she produced and stars in. They're talking about the fight scenes, how the stunts are real. They go over the fact she has experience with martial arts. That's all well and good. I enjoy listening to artists talk about their art. It's why I like watching actor interviews. I will not knock her for being passionate about the art form in which she expresses herself. With that said, let's be honest, this is a drama commentary channel. You're here to listen to me talk my shit. To begin the festivities, this year especially, it is very apparent to me, at least, that she is playing into the not like other girls thing, which is obviously cringe pick-me hogwash. I say this because, just as I previously mentioned somewhat, her public image wasn't always like this. We all remember the Euphoria drama, the headlines about Sweeney having to tell what's-his-face because he was writing overly freaked out scenes for Cassie. He had her naked unnecessarily too much. And SYDNEY SWEENEY spoke about how she doesn't want her public image to be solely about being sexualized or the male gaze.
Well, that's the thing. There was a storyline of what is happening in Cassie and the sexualization that's happening in Cassie. And then I see that happening to me in real life, even though everyone watched Euphoria. I go, did you not? Did you miss?
Fast forward to 2025, she participates in the selling of her own bathwater. Sexualizing herself in that stupid American Eagle ad for the male gaze.
They make your butt look amazing.
I just wanted to provide context as to why I think the way she talks about being able to fight and how she was the only girl in her fighting class comes off as a little, you know, I like boy stuff. I fully could be overthinking this. It could just be me projecting the image of her that has soured in my head. I can admit that, but it does start to feel that way to me. This interviewer comes off as so disingenuous, and considering the critique people were giving, I'm not the only one. However, I think I'm getting a different disingenuous vibe than everyone else.
I'm so flattered. I'm so flattered.
So, as I mentioned before, people were alleging the entire point of this video is to make SYDNEY SWEENEY look good again and clear her image after the fiasco that was the American Eagle ad. But honestly, this interview does not feel like she's on SYDNEY's side at all. There's an almost undercurrent of hostility, or at the very least a push and pull between them that I see.
I don't really let other people define who I am.
I'm happy to hear that. I love secondhand concern for you lately.
Is it really just me? If you've seen it, let me know what you thought about the interviewer. I thought that she like low-key did not like SYDNEY SWEENEY.
I think the ad split for herself. Okay, yeah. And the criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
She hasn't spoken about a single social issue, in case you were wondering, and on top of that is dating Zionist billionaire Scooter Braun that no one likes. Continue.
I think a lot of people feel like it's better for art if artists can keep themselves a little bit separate from politics.
Yeah, I've never talked about my personal life.
Girl, who the told you that? You just made that up to shield yourself. It's quite literally the opposite. People want to know the artists whose lives they are funding with their monetary support share the same political views. And by politics, let's be super, super clear here. I mean, they want to know, the consumer wants to know that their morals align with the artist. You're just throwing words at the wall and hoping that it sticks. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Side note, everything about Hollywood is so ridiculous. Like, what do you mean you're spending your day staging paparazzi photos? What? Do celebrities not feel extreme embarrassment when they share their plans with someone or discuss them with their team out loud? That is truly a whole different world. It's genuinely a circus, and the monkeys are all on Ozempic with lip fillers, and the clowns are all predators. Whoop. Popping in to say, if you enjoy gossip content or talking your shit, justifiably and within reason, of course, you should go ahead and subscribe, like, and share the video. It helps boost the channel, and also I appreciate it a lot. I got dreams, honey. Thank you, love you, mean it. This right here is the snippet I wanted to talk about most.
The president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, when she agrees that it was surreal, she doesn't seem to be applying any negative connotations to it. And quite frankly, that right there is all you need to know about Sydney Sweeney, in my opinion. My answer would have been, I was absolutely gobsmacked that fat evil came to my defense as if we're on the same side. Word for word, bar for bar. If there was ever any ounce of question regarding my character, my integrity, my beliefs, and then cruelty incarnate with brain damage spoke in my favor, I would shut that shit down with a quickness. Not Sydney Sweeney, though. No.
It would be totally human. I would probably feel like thankful that somebody had my back in public. Conveniently, some very powerful people had my back in public. And I wondered if you felt that way.
It's not that that feeling I didn't have that feeling, but I wasn't thinking of it like that.
I would rather go down swinging against an army all by myself than have that of all people have my back in public. Absolutely the hell not, dude. I saw someone say that she came off as very smug here.
I kind of just put my phone away. I was filming every day. I'm filming Euphoria, so I'm working like 16-hour days, and I don't really bring my phone on set, so I work and then I go home and I go to sleep. So I didn't really see a lot of it.
The whole, I'm booked and busy, I have too much actually going on, unlike the rest of you peasants, to get sucked into this controversy. I'm so above it all and so unaffected. And yeah, I can see that. It's especially glaring, I think, because it's just not true. You can be busy and still clear the air when your name is being dragged through the mud. You know what I mean? It just doesn't, those things have nothing to do with one another. You just didn't care to speak out. Because you were still working when you got on the internet and cried over a couple people calling you ugly.
Would never actually do this, like ever. But I think it's really important for people to see how words actually affect people. And I know everyone says, like, you can't read things and you shouldn't read things, but, like, I'm a fucking person. I'm just sitting here with my dog Tank watching HGTV, wearing my Stuggy, like, I don't know. People need to be nicer on social media.
I wanted to butt in again and say, you know, of course people are way too comfortable on social media because the disconnect, like the boldness by being behind a screen instead of actually in front of someone, it gives them this false sense of like bravery to say whatever the they want and think there are no consequences. And a lot of people, like bad people, take advantage of that to just be really rude and bully people, like straight up bully people. You know, there's no reason to be going online and calling people ugly. I absolutely agree with that. But it's the fact that she cared about that issue, which we absolutely should be talking about, because some people say that like bullying is a cringe word as adults, but that's what it is. And it has real life consequences. We should absolutely be bringing attention to bullying. But why is it that she cares about herself being bullied for like vain reasons, let's be honest, but she doesn't care about being called a racist. See? It's so telling what they decide to publicly give their attention to. Literally, by her own admission, she'll speak on what she cares about.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Please pay close attention to the public figures who say that. If they'll cry over being called ugly but not cry over genocide, they are straight up directly in our faces telling us what they do and do not give a single iota of a fuck about. After this interview, it came out that the movie Christie bombed at the box office, and Sydney Sweeney commented on it. She said, "We don't always make art for the numbers, we make it for impact." Sydney, girl, the thing is, there's no impact if nobody's going to see it. And then there's this, as a commenter points out, which I would like to dive into a little bit here. Sydney Sweeney has alienated most of her female fans. She has decided, with aforementioned methods such as sexualizing herself in ads, selling bathwater, yada yada, to pander to a very specific male audience. She has decided to push a more conservative image, whether that is the ideology, if you can call it that, she aligns with privately or not. Firstly, art in any form is antithetical to conservatism. Right? Art that celebrates and empowers and celebrates empowered women is absolutely not going to be something the people she has pandered to are going to care about. Males, conservative males, do not care about Sydney Sweeney. Their interest ends at the size of her boobs. An audience of women would have liked to support this movie, but Sydney Sweeney made it her mission not to pander to female solidarity. She's decided to pander to men. Beyond that, taking into account the smugness and trying to act so above being offended is a turnoff. It makes you unlikable, as does the pandering. I know society is misogynistic, but what pick-me's fail to realize is being a pick-me actually doesn't get you picked, because the desperation is also a turnoff. So now, the men who only care about your boobs are being turned away because you're being clingy and annoying and trying too hard. You no longer have the women to fall back on. You see how she's dug her own grave? Sweeney acts like none of this affects her, but she fails to realize it will likely become unignorable. Sure, you're fine for now. Hollywood is trying really hard to shove her down our throats and spending money and sprinkling her everywhere. For now. What happens when it continues to fail and Hollywood notices the projects she's in, even if they are fantastic and should do amazing, are failing specifically because she's in them? What happens when Hollywood realizes they wasted money trying to make Sydney Sweeney happen, and they move on to someone the public does like and does want to monetarily support? What happens when she starts losing roles because no one outside the industry wants to see her? Will she still try to pretend criticism and self-reflection is beneath her? I can't say because I'm not in her head, but the hole she's dug is already pretty deep, and it will take a lot of effort and time to undo it. The longer that's put off, the more impossible it becomes to salvage her currently tarnished image. And then you'll feel it, girl. It'll be very blatant that you're lying when you don't get a job, and all those elites you're trying to get in with shun you because you're no longer profitable. Something to consider.